Okay, so I am being encouraged to tell more about my story. Um, and the thing there's a few different things that are hitting my spirit right now. One, there have been multiple assassination attempts on me and my children. Okay, there were multiple when we were in Washington State. This was the beginning of my awakening. So I left North Carolina the end of 2021 after being invited by a very jealous cousin. Her name is Crystal Brown, for anybody that knows her. But that stinking ass bitch. She invited me to her house to live just so that she could plot on me. Now, before this plot that was going on, there was a plot prior to, because there was one time where she came to my house early 2021, around the summertime of 2021. She came to my house, and when she came back to North Carolina from Washington State, and instead of going to her mama's house, she came to my house, which I didn't understand what was going on then, because I wasn't awakened. I didn't know who I was at that time. But she was there. I was wondering, I couldn't get comfortable while she was there. But then she came, and then she was looking for information. She showed me that the nigga that I was fucking with at that time, who is my youngest son's daddy, or sperm donor, that he was on a dating app. But I didn't realize it then. Come on, let's wipe your ass. I didn't realize then, what was going on, what she was trying to do, and all this, that, and the third. But anyway, she invited me to Tacoma, Washington. And I was already homeless after being wrongfully evicted by George Carrillo out here. I think he's from Raleigh, North Carolina. But after being wrongfully evicted by him, and, at that time I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. So I just left, packed up and left. So we had already been moving around and stuff, and for some reason, I had been calling her. Good job. Woo! That's good shit. So I had been calling her, just wash your hands. And, just talking to her about what I was going through. I hadn't asked her, could I come stay or anything like that. But then after a couple months, so I left Lumberton. I stayed a couple places in Lumberton, didn't feel comfortable. Baby daddy put me out of two people's houses, his daddy house and his brother's house. Just people kicking me while I was down. And I was finding out that a lot of my family didn't want to see me happy. Just loved to see me doing bad. So I was just moving around. So I left and went to Georgia after being invited by my son's daddy's mom, Sandra Faye Green, who lives in Valdosta. I think she still lives in Valdosta. But she's an Eastern Star, and I already told y'all today is a cult. I didn't know at the time that her and her posses had plans to destroy me, and they was trying to figure out what all I knew at that time. But when I got there, I started to see, that she wasn't right. I disclosed that to my son's sperm donor. He told her. Then I got more uncomfortable. So I just left after getting the stimulus. Trump, you need to go and get us another stimulus. And then Crystal called. I was talking to Crystal, and she was just like, why don't you just come here? So I was like, okay, fuck it. We were cool and shit. Then we was cool. I thought we was. Whole time she been jealous of me, envious of me. I always been hating on me. I always been mad. But I didn't know it at the time. So we left Georgia and went to Washington State. Now, I was not aware, at this time I was just healing. Okay, I was just healing. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know I was the high priestess. I didn't know I was the divine feminine. I didn't know that I was God's only chosen reader. You know, I didn't know that I was the supreme witch. I didn't know nothing about none of this. I wasn't reading cards, you know, none of that. I had just started healing. All right. And just the more I healed, the more, you know, I just started becoming my true self. I've always, had supernatural experiences though. Like I've been seeing spirits and hearing spirits since I was young, you know, seeing demons and stuff like that since I was young. And it was so bad when I was young, like I couldn't go to sleep without my little sister, who I don't fuck with no more because she's jealous and envious, you know, and fucked up too. But it was so bad when I was young and I was, you know, seeing spirits and supernatural things so much that she would have to literally stay up until I went to sleep. And then I just remember waking up all through the night, you know, seeing different energies, different spirits. They would come through and ask me for help, you know, talk to me, different things. I used to be scared of the shit, but now I'm not scared. But anyway, she invited me. Crystal invited us. We traveled for 5 days. I drive how long I could drive during the day. We get off the road at night, you know, and, you know, rest. And then we get up early in the morning and leave. So it took us 5 days to get there, to drive from Georgia to Washington State, Tacoma, Washington, to be exact. Now, the first thing that was very strange during this part of my awakening, and this was the beginning, when my third eye was opening, okay, was when we got in Wyoming. There was, I don't know exactly what part of Wyoming we were in, but I think I still have a receipt from that store where I stopped to get gas, and it was dark, or it was almost dark. It was getting dark, and I stopped to get gas. If I go to the area, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what part of Wyoming it was. I know it was outside of a more city type of Wyoming. And then I know that there's a ranch down the road from this store. And the ranch, their logo is like a lion. I know it if I see it, but I do think that I have a receipt from when I stopped at this store and got gas, because at this store, the people that owned the ranch, it was a white lady, an older white lady, and an older white man. They pulled up in a truck. And we went in the store, me and my oldest son went in the store, used the bathroom, you know, got stretched our legs and stuff. Came back out to pump gas. When I came back out to pump gas, my middle baby, he was still in the store. And he came out, he said the lady had spoke to him. So she comes out the store while I'm pumping gas, and she walks up to me. Her head is just shaking like this. I knew she was high on something because of what she asked me. And listen to what I'm getting ready to tell y'all, okay? Hold on until you stop. So she walks up to me, and she's serious when she's asking me this. She was like, "Can I buy your son? He's very handsome." And I looked at her like, because I thought I was like dreaming for a second. Like, is this fucking real? This bitch just asked me could she buy my son. And I just started smiling like, no. And I just started smiling because I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then she was like, no, really, it's not a problem. The whole time she talking, her head just a shaking. She was high as hell off of something. Whole time she talking. She was like, no, I'm serious. It's not a problem. She was like, I can just go to the ATM and get the money. And I was like, no, like, that's my son. You can't buy my goddamn son. Like, they selling kids around this bitch. So I'm still in awe. Like, are they buying kids? What the fuck is going on? Now, mind you, before I got to Wyoming, that I went all over the place with that. But the bitch asked me could she buy my son. It was in Wyoming. I can't remember what part of Wyoming it was. All I know is there's a ranch down the road from Wyoming. And the ranch, the logo, is got a lion on it. I know they sex trafficking. She asked me could she buy my son. But anyway, in Atlanta, we left Valdosta, Georgia, and went to Atlanta to stay for the night. While we were in Atlanta, we were at a motel. It was very funny. And there were kids there. There was boys and girls in a one room with like two people. It was lots of them. And they had surveillance all over. Like the man act like he didn't even want to rent me a room.